responsible for the deaths of millions. Who was Hitler behind his carefully crafted public persona?
All of it was an act. All of it was a show.
With newly restored, rarely seen footage.
How did an unknown painter from Austria rise to become one of history's most infamous figures? A man whose name evokes both terror and tragedy. Adolf Hitler orchestrated one of humanity's darkest chapters. But what fueled his rise? And what led to his catastrophic downfall? Brace yourself for a chilling journey through the life of a dictator who forever changed the world. Don't forget to subscribe for more gripping documentaries. Welcome to Insight Keep, where we uncover the stories that shaped history. Today, we dive into the chilling and suspenseful story of Adolf Hitler, a man who turned his ambitions into a nightmare for millions.
Adolf Hitler.
He is the architect of one of the greatest disasters the world has ever seen.
The most photographed leader of the early 20th century.
He spent hours.
And his rapid ascent to power.
How great his rise will be from a park bench in Vienna to the Führer of the Third Reich.
The definitive account of the most hated man in history.
Konflikt für mich ein, wo wie ich für dich eingesetzt. We shall never surrender!
Presentation of himself. You can draw a line from that to what film and rock stars are doing today.
Chapter 1. The Formative Years. Adolf Hitler was born on April 20th, 1889, in the small town of Braunau am Inn, Austria. His early life was marked by instability, an abusive father, the death of his younger siblings, and a sense of alienation. But Hitler dreamed big. As a teenager, he aspired to become an artist, yet his rejection from the Vienna Academy of Fine Arts crushed his ambitions. He spent his early 20s living in poverty, nurturing a growing resentment towards those he blamed for his failures. World War I became a turning point. Hitler served as a soldier in the German army, finding purpose in the chaos of war. But when Germany surrendered, Hitler felt betrayed, believing the country's leaders and certain communities had stabbed Germany in the back. This belief became the seed of his extreme ideology. Chapter 2. Rise of the Führer. In the aftermath of World War I, Germany was in turmoil, economic collapse, political instability, and a humiliated nation after the Treaty of Versailles. Hitler joined the German Workers' Party, a small political group that he quickly transformed into the National Socialist German Workers' Party, better known as the Nazi Party. Hitler's fiery speeches resonated with a desperate population. He promised to restore Germany's greatness, rebuild its economy, and reclaim its pride. In 1923, he attempted a coup known as the Beer Hall Putsch. Although it failed, Hitler used his trial to gain nationwide attention, framing himself as Germany's savior. While in prison, he penned Mein Kampf, laying out his twisted vision for Germany. Upon his release, Hitler capitalized on Germany's deepening crisis, using propaganda and fear to win the support of the masses. By 1933, Hitler was appointed chancellor, and soon after, he dismantled Germany's democracy, declaring himself Führer. Chapter 3. The Nazi Regime and the Road to War. Once in power, Hitler wasted no time. He consolidated control, eliminating political opponents, silencing the press, and establishing a totalitarian regime. The SS and Gestapo became instruments of terror, while propaganda glorified Hitler as a near-messianic figure.
Picture by picture, frame by frame.
I think Hitler created an image of political celebrity that never existed before. The manipulation of media, the presentation of himself, you can draw a line from that to what film and rock stars are doing today.
Hitler's vision of a pure Aryan race led to one of history's most horrifying acts, the Holocaust. Jews, Romani people, disabled individuals, and other minorities were systematically persecuted. Over 6 million Jews were murdered in concentration camps, a genocide that remains one of humanity's darkest stains. Meanwhile, Hitler's ambitions extended beyond Germany. He violated the Treaty of Versailles by rebuilding the military and annexing Austria in 1938. The Munich Agreement handed him Czechoslovakia without a fight. And on September 1, 1939, Hitler's invasion of Poland ignited World War II. Chapter 4. The Height of Power. During the early years of the war, Hitler's strategies seemed unstoppable. The Blitzkrieg tactic brought rapid victories, with Nazi forces conquering vast territories across Europe. By 1941, Hitler controlled much of Western Europe and turned his sights eastward, but his overconfidence became his undoing. The invasion of the Soviet Union, Operation Barbarossa, stretched Germany's resources thin. Hitler underestimated the Soviet resistance and the brutal Russian winter, leading to devastating losses. Simultaneously, the United States entered the war after the attack on Pearl Harbor, creating a formidable Allied force. Hitler's dream of a 1,000-year Reich began to crumble. Chapter 5. The Fall of a Dictator. By 1944, the Allies were closing in. D-Day marked the beginning of the end for Nazi Germany. The Soviet Red Army advanced from the east, while British and American forces pushed from the west. As defeat loomed, Hitler became increasingly erratic, retreating to his bunker in Berlin. On April 30th, 1945, with the Soviets closing in, Adolf Hitler took his own life alongside his wife, Eva Braun. Days later, Germany surrendered, and the war in Europe was over. The Nazi regime had left a trail of death and destruction. Over 70 million lives were lost in World War II, and the scars of Hitler's reign still linger today. Chapter 6. Legacy and Lessons. Hitler's story is one of ambition, manipulation, and the terrifying consequences of unchecked power. His rise and fall serve as a chilling reminder of the dangers of propaganda, hatred, and authoritarianism. As we reflect on his legacy, the question remains: how do we prevent history's darkest chapters from repeating? It starts with vigilance, education, and standing against tyranny in all its forms. Thank you for joining us on this chilling journey through history. If you found this documentary engaging, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Insight Keep. Let's keep history alive and learn from it to build a better future. What are your thoughts on Hitler's impact on the world? Share them in the comments below.